Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is the Smash Our Stash collaboration, and this was created by Bourbon Creek Crafts and Fresh and Renewed with Teresa. Those two channels got together and decided that we should get into our stash, and they gave us a theme for every month. Now, March is a choose your own. The prior month was 3D embellishments. That was a fun one. And this month is choose your own. So what I did was I chose fabric scraps. My mom is a quilter and one of my really good friends is a quilter. And quilters, when they get down to this, they're probably tired of it or moving on. And I even have a few that are large enough to make a journal cover with. This one was a quilt that my friend Katie made for another blue lover, and she was tired of these fabrics by the time she got done with it. But for the most part, it's a lot of bits. And I have sorted them by size and made some fun things. This is my July daily. I have lots of videos about this. You can do a journal cover. In this case, I lined the inside. It's just fun, gives it some nice texture. But if you just have small pieces, let me show you some fun things you can do. Nothing that I did here takes a lot of fancy supplies. You don't have to be a paper crafter, and I think you could still have a great time doing this if someone just gave you a bag of scraps. I will have a video that comes out in a couple days and shows you how I did it. For today, this is just going to be a quick video where I show you what I made. I made 3 cards. And I made them in a little bit different style. This one's really ragged looking. I tore the fabrics and put a sentiment on the front. Then this one's a little cleaner looking and the sentiment is popped up. And then this one is a very clean look, not distressed looking fabrics and very flat. Mails perfectly, look at that. So just gives you an idea of different ways that you could do them. You can make fabric cards for hours and entertain yourself. Strips of fabric from quilters, like a 1-inch strip, is the perfect reject for card making. But if you just have bits, we've got that covered too. So let me show you a couple more things. Here's another one. It's the same idea as these, but ruffled. You need to have longer strips to cover the whole thing. And it's a little trickier to put your sentiment on later, but you can. I haven't finished embellishing these all the way because I want to make sure that I'll use them in the future. And I don't exactly know what tie I would want to put on them to make them match something else or what sentiment. I think I'm done with this card, but I don't know that I'm done with this tag. I could still put a sentiment on the top of that. Then I did some pink, you pink lovers. I really like how this one turned out. And to give you an idea of how you could decorate these, you could take a die cut and place it right there in the middle. You could put a big bow through here, or a tie, of course. And then I've left the back of them. They're all light colored so they can tuck into journals and be journaled on. That was kind of my vision for them, but you could decorate both sides or have them as a bookmark. You could do all sorts of things. Here's a really clean style. I just cut it with pinking shears, and then I put some little dots with a marker that was in a similar color. You could doodle all over it, however you want to do. I still like that one. I think that one's fun. And I like that some of the edges are super straight and that one's all ragged. Then I did a bunch of little tags. These are partially covered, and I liked that because you can stamp on it. So that one I stamped afterwards. I could still stamp something right here, little images or sentiments, and then journal on the back. And this one, I think it's cute to let the shag hang out on the back a little bit. Another one here where when you flip it over, you see all kinds of things. I didn't stitch in the middle because that way you can still write on it. If you wanted a cleaner look, you could layer another one on top. But I like how this one turned out, and I used a crazy stitch and added some more layers of fabric. Didn't get it real straight, but still fun. And notice that the tie is also a strip of fabric. You could use embroidery floss, ribbon, whatever you want to use, but I used that. This one is a hot mess. I made this, it was sort of my counter cleanup, but then I added a few more to fill it in. And I really like how it turned out. It's messy for me. I'm surprised that I like it. The other thing I did was I stapled some of the fabrics before I put them on here. I didn't want the staples on the back side, right? Because I want to write on these. But I just stapled them and then glued them down. And this one had stitching on it. It was in the scrap bin that way. I don't throw those out. I keep them. And then this one is cute. It has little loose ends and a little different style on this one. There's no right or wrong. This one I just pieced it and left the paper showing between them. The papers I use are just scraps, not fancy paper at all. They might have been a tag that was sitting on the counter. They might have been scraps, anything. This one, Gratitude. It's all fabric. And then I think I'm gonna put a red tie on this one. This is one of those cards that, I mean, people have a million of, you know what they're called. And I can't think of it for the life of me. But you can buy them in big sets, and you could do the same idea with any journaling card, any tag, anything you're going to tuck in a pocket. It's cute on the back, and it had a little line, and I thought, it needs some fabric there. And so I just did a gather and put that on. Then I watched a tutorial, and I mentioned it in an updates video recently. It was by Bonnie and Clive, and she was making these envelopes, and I decorated a few of my envelopes with some fabric scraps. This one I would call done. I'm just going to glue it together and I would leave it just like that. I love how it turned out. This one, not quite done. Still needs a little embellishment. And again, if I was going to put it in a fall journal, I'd probably put a leaf die right there. If I was going to put it in a spring journal, I'd probably add some pink or some green, you know, not a brown leaf. So that's why I haven't decorated them all. I know that sometimes it would make the video more exciting if I completed every one of them, but I like to make sure that I'm going to use this stuff. I hope that you got ideas and inspiration, and in the process video, you'll see what kind of glues I used and how messy I got and how I finish it all out. Be sure to watch all the other collaborators. I can't wait to see what other people chose for their item this month. And April is Brad's. And I tell you, Brad's make me crazy, and I bet you have some in your stash. I have some sitting over here looking at me right now. We will get into our stash and we will start pulling out those Brad's that have been sitting there and use them. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.